Pretty bombshell investigation dropped over the weekend from Buzzfeed around the Financial Services Crimes Unit within the Department of the Treasury. They obtained thousands of documents. They're called suspicious activity reports that were filed by major financial institutions delivered to the Department of the Treasury. And within that, Krystal, they basically uncovered a network of trillions of dollars of illicit funds that are funneled through these major Wall Street financial institutions with zero penalties on the banks. What we saw in the Jeffrey Epstein case with Deutsche Bank on the $150 million, tip of the iceberg. And all of us were asking, how the hell does this happen? This is how it happens, because it's not just Epstein. They're talking about terrorists. They're talking about, terrible dictators evading sanctions. They are talking here about, different drug cartels.
Right.
Like the amount of money that is moving through, again, the most storied institutions on Wall Street with zero consequence for the banks and for the people who have that money and are funneling this money into legitimate institutions here in the government is just staggering what was revealed in this report.
Kudos to the team at Buzzfeed and the other outlets that have been covering this. This was a massive amount of work, and what they put together is really eye-watering in terms of just a national global network of criminality that is going on within our largest banking institutions. I thought about that same Epstein thing too, because what we learned with that was not only was he a client when they knew that there were problems there, they sought after him as a client because they feel that they can just operate with impunity. And ultimately, if it's going to make them a buck, they are perfectly willing to look the other way, whether it's trafficking or money laundering or drug cartels or terrorism or whatever it is, Russian oligarchs laundering their money. Just a few of the specific details here. HSBC let fraudsters move millions of dollars of stolen money around the world, even after U.S. investigators were like, hey, this is not a good thing that is going on here. JP Morgan let a company move more than $1 billion through a London account without knowing who owned it. Turned out that it was probably a mobster on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Barclays Bank in London helped Vladimir Putin's closest associates avoid sanctions. UK is apparently called a higher risk jurisdiction. You just go bank after bank after bank. And what it shows you is they just don't care. If they think they can get away with it and make money and not get caught and collect on all these fees from no matter what illicit activity is, they really don't care. And then the other thing we learned here is that, the U.S. government has done very little about it. And that's the thing that, I'm sure is not going to really surprise people. We all watched in the financial collapse how there was zero accountability for any specific executives. Banks would get fines. They really don't care. And it's the same thing here. They get a slap on the wrist. They get don't do it again. Be good boys and girls, and we'll let you keep doing what you're doing. And of course, they don't care. They go back and do the same stuff.
This is the line that stuck out to me. FinCEN investigation shows that even after they were prosecuted or fined for financial misconducts, banks such as JP Morgan Chase, HSBC, Standard Chartered, Deutsche Bank, Bank of New York Mellon, continued to move money for suspected criminals. So they just didn't care. Or the profits they were receiving were so outsized what the fines were. Keep doing business. If you want to learn how it all happens, I think it's all within stories like this, which is that when you can use these major banks to move trillions of dollars around the globe, regardless of how that money is generated, and they face no consequence or they face fake consequences, and then they use those profits to shape our political system, it tells you everything you need to know about the world's wealthiest elite and how they are able to use all of our institutions against us in these times.
Just think about the drug market, right? If you are the head of a cartel and you've got billions of dollars that you want to move around the globe, these bankers are happy to work with you.
You'd be a fool not to say yes, right? If you're a banker.
These bankers are happy to work with you. If you're like the low-level dealer on the street, they will throw you in jail for the rest of your life. But that's like the story of our entire criminal justice system. There is no prosecution, no accountability at the top, and it wasn't always so blatant. There used to be, and this is one of the things that they point out in the article, there used to be more of a willingness to go after the executives themselves, because that is actual accountability. Do these executives care if their bank has fined a few $1 million here, a few $1 million? No, that doesn't matter to them. It doesn't hurt their bottom line, doesn't impact their future, doesn't affect their ultimate, golden parachutes down the line or any of that. The only way that you have any kind of real deterrence from this type of behavior is to actually go after white-collar criminals and have them pay a personal cost and face actual jail time or actual consequences for their actions here. But what this reveals is that there has been no consequence. Banks have been happy to look the other way. If it can make them a buck, they were happy to do it.
That's exactly it. I encourage everybody to go and read this investigation on BuzzFeed's website. It's just an incredible act of journalism. Nobody in cable is going to cover it, but it is absolutely worth some of your time looking into.
100%. All right, we'll have more Rising for you after this.